Okay, so I haven't exactly worked out the title of this one yet, but here's three standalone books you can read in an afternoon or a weekend that could potentially send you into an existential crisis, or just books that are bleak, compelling, get you thinking, have some different themes between them, but overall there's some sort of search for meaning, and will leave you with more questions than they will answers. But will provide you with a solid weekend or day of just, that's sad, that's bleak, that's interesting. These are kind of like dystopian sci fi standalones. Um, Typically, we talk about sci fi and fantasy here. Here, we're just getting weird for the weekend. So let's dive into it. Let's talk about the book I read most recently, A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck. I read this one on Sunday. I did a reading vlog for it for my Patreon, which I just started up. So if you want to check that out, link in the description if you just want extra book videos, reviews, community, book clubs, that sort of thing. I'd love it if you checked it out, but just watch the video, like, subscribe, comment. Thank you so much for your eyes and attention. And A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck was one super interesting read. And A Short Stay in Hell, as you may be able to tell from the title, well, our main character, he wakes up in hell. And, you know, this demon guy, in a very comedic way, says, well, you might not be here forever. You can work your way out of it. Here's a hell that we think suits you. Off you go. And he finds himself in a hell kind of simulating the Library of Babel, which was very interesting because I haven't read that one yet and I am interested to check out more things about Babel now. Now, this is just a 5 chapter plus a prologue, 100-page book. So I won't say much more else about the plot, except we've just got a guy who's in a hell that may not be in this hell forever, but he may not be in there for a short stay, if you catch my drift. And this was a super interesting read. I found the beginning a little bit nicer than the ending, just because there's a little bit more comedy thrown in there in the beginning. And a lot of the questions this book explores, I found those questions in the beginning a little bit more interesting than the questions it was asking at the ending. But all throughout, there was questions on religion, hell. If there is a hell, is it an eternal damnation, or is it something that you can work your way out of to get into a heaven, to learn a lesson, to move on from? There's a lot of exploration on loneliness and finding connection, finding purpose, finding meaning. Are humans meant to live forever? Are we supposed to go on? Are we beings that can find purpose when we exist for eternity? And I'll state again, this is a book that will leave you with more questions than answers. It gets incredibly sad. You get a really good story for just 100 pages where you get a deep connection to the characters in the story, and you definitely feel for them as they go through some pretty horrifying stuff, pretty crushing stuff. So you get an interesting read, you get a sad read, you get a compelling read. It's very easy to read. The writing style's, nothing crazy, but it's very easy just to like smash through it. Good comedy at the start. I really liked the prologue. I had some good chuckles in there when the guy was just finding himself in hell, and the way that it was set up. So yeah, definitely something I would recommend if you're looking for a funky afternoon of reading and want to get a little bit sad, a little bit weird, and ask yourself some questions when it comes to religion, eternity, finding meaning and purpose, and what it'd be like existing for an eternity. So yeah, really good thought experiment by Stephen L. Peck. Now, the second book in this is one of the best books I have read all year. It's a little bit longer. I did this one on audio, so I listened to it. It's a 7-hour audio book, and that's I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. Now, this book did remind me a little bit of The Road by Cormac McCarthy, which we'll be talking about next, but is very much its own thing. Where Cormac McCarthy, The Road, definitely has a little bit more of a masculine tone. Obviously, I Who Have Never Known Men, female author, we hit that feminine tone. Got a female main character, and she isn't existing in a world where her whole life, all she has known is she grew up in a cell in a bunker with 39 other women that are all older than her. They have male prison guards that provide them with food, but the prison guards don't talk. They just provide the ladies with enough existence to keep them nourished. The ladies can't really like interact with each other too much. Like they can't touch each other. They can't do too much else outside of just existing. And then we're just following this younger girl. So she has never known society. She does no previous memories. The other ladies in there do, but she doesn't. She's just known this prison cell until early on in this book where the guards disappear, and these ladies are allowed out. And it's the story of their survival, their journey they're going on. And following this young girl story, written in the style where she's much older and writing to us about like these events as they happened, she's a great character. She's very interesting. It's a very compelling read. She's a very compelling character because it's just like, all right, how does someone think when they've never known what a society is like, when they've had to learn things in a different way when it comes to like language and maths? Like when you don't grow up with reading books and having a teacher. She kind of got a bit of help from the older ladies, but it was a weird relationship dynamic sort of thing growing up for her. So she is just a wholly unique person, and we just get to see humanity finding a way, you know, where there is no proper society. They've got the group of women, but they can't function like a normal society does. And she's never known any life outside of that. And just seeing her humanity find a way is just really interesting. And it's another one of those books that will leave you with more questions than answers because, these women are in a weird setting that we don't find out anything about. It is just that exploring our character's journey. Oh, super interesting. Asks a lot of questions about isolation, identity, captivity versus freedom. Like, what is freedom? What is humanity when there is no history or society to go along with it? Why go on when there is not much to go on for? So, there is a lot of questions with existentialism and what's the purpose when things seem meaningless in a way? Why go on? It's just a really great read, following an interesting character. It's unlike anything you would have ever read in a post apocalyptic sort of setting. Definitely check out I Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. And the last book, The Road by Cormac McCarthy, one of my top reads from last year. Just following a father and son in a post apocalyptic setting as they are basically just walking down a road. There's nothing special about the plot. We're just going from location A to location B, and we're just seeing their journey in this dark, bleak setting where there is no society left. Like, humanity is just, everyone alive is just looking after themselves, basically. There's not too much hope in this world, and it's just asks the question again, why go on? You get a really great father and son relationship of just that father just trying to be the hope, be the reason, provide the purpose of why they're staying alive. And it definitely leaves you asking, or ask the question in this setting of, what does it mean to be good? When do morals come in when it comes to matters of survival? There's some good there's some good explorations of parenthood and love, looking at hope versus despair. Just hope trying to find a way to beat out the despair when everything seems so hopeless. And just there's just something about the human spirit just finding a way, finding a light to carry, a reason to go on, that just makes it one super compelling read. And again, you'll be left with questions, not too many answers, but you go on a journey with this father and son, and you just be glued to the page. Now, Cormac's got a little bit of a different writing style. He doesn't use much grammar, so there's no speech marks, for example. So it's just text, and it's like, and then the man said, like, oh, he actually said that out loud. There wasn't a thought or something like that. So that can take a little getting used to. If you do the audio book, that's not really a struggle. It just all makes sense very easily for that. But yeah, these are 3 books you can read very quickly. That'll get you thinking. give you lots of questions, more questions than they will answers. They're all bleak, they're all compelling, they all have good characters to follow, and I'll just be like, and I'll just leave you just sitting there like, what did I just read? That was sad. That was weird. And you might leave it at that, or it might sit with you and stick in your brain for a long period of time. Let me know what standalones or what books give you this same sort of feeling. I love these types of reads and I need to find more of them. So please give me your recommendations. And thank you so much for watching. Just have a fantastic day for me, all right?